Hi everyone who's of a foreign origin, speaks, reads and understands English, and is constantly seeking to improve English fluency. You are listening to the right man now, because I'm using the vast possibilities of the internet to communicate about everything that's got to do with spoken English and fluency improvement. Alright, so today I'll tell you about a phrase I heard the other day on the radio, and which got me thinking about how sometimes foreign English speakers are perceived among the native English speaking public. So I was listening to my favorite morning radio show, and as usual, listeners were sending in text messages, and the DJ was reading them out. And then he reads out something that didn't make 100% sense to a native English speaker, yet it was quite obvious what the listener had meant by it. I don't really remember what exactly it was, to be honest with you. It was an awkward word combination not used in real life. It is, of course, quite natural that any native speaker would spot such an odd word combination. And indeed, any of us foreign English speakers, having spent long enough time among other English speakers, would also notice such oddities. Little that the radio DJ knew about how foreigners speak, he jumped to a conclusion that the person who had texted in that particular message hasn't got a good command of English. You think it's not a big deal? It is, and let me tell you why. The thing is that it's very easy for a native English speaker to make assumptions about someone for whom English is a second language. I actually think it might be founded in a widespread media myth that a fluent foreign English speaker speaks just like a native English speaker, with the only difference being a more or less distinct accent. I've often wondered, why is it that when they portray foreign English speakers in films, they use native English speakers who are good at putting on different accents? In real life, even a very decent foreign English speaker would make an odd mistake here and there in terms of a language style and even grammar sometimes, especially when that person is under stress or being hurried. It can happen alright, and it still happens to me sometimes. This brings us to the next point. It may be very hurtful for a foreign English speaker to hear that his English is broken, bad, and he hasn't got a good command of English if it's not true. I'm not saying there aren't millions and millions of beginner English learners out there whose English is broken and conversationally bad indeed. Neither am I claiming you can't find foreigners whose English is impeccable and you wouldn't tell them apart from natives. You can. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that that wise guy on the radio didn't feel bothered at all making a completely stupid comment about someone who's listening to his show, texting in a message and waiting for it to be read out. Do you see where I'm coming from? Could someone possibly who wouldn't have a good command of English even comprehend what's being discussed on an English-speaking radio show? Of course not. Alright. I know I should calm down, but now I'm going to confess into something very strange. When I heard that comment, I felt very hurt. Yes, me. I felt personally hurt by the flippant remark because I know from my past experience how it feels to be wrongly taken for a struggling English speaker, while in reality I know that my English is very good. I know what it feels like when you're making an insignificant mistake when speaking with a native English speaker, yet the person who speaks with you thinks that your English is terrible and starts speaking in an exaggerated, slow manner like this. Do you understand me? But now it's time to stop being a crybaby. Okay, let's adopt a mature stance on this issue. I don't blame the radio DJ, seriously. Even though I called his remark flippant and stupid, he didn't do it deliberately, because I know him, and he's a very nice and compassionate guy. He just made that simple assumption based on what he knows about foreigners. And to be honest with you, a huge part of the foreign-speaking communities in Ireland have difficulties with the English basics. I can't deny that. I don't blame him for hurting my feelings either, by the way. There's a saying, everything that doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I think we foreigners have to do just that when it comes to hearing wrong assumptions about our English fluency. We have to grow thick skin and ignore any comments about our English skills, unless it's a constructive criticism. We always have to keep our ears open for something we can learn from. I hope the guy or girl who texted in the message to the morning radio show disregarded the remark about not having good command of English. And so should you, my friends. Just let it go and be content in the knowledge that your English is good enough. How do I know? Well, you wouldn't be listening to me otherwise, would you? Okay, thanks for staying with me and see you soon again.